Greetings, YouTube! The Doctor is in. Dr. Urias Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Dungeons and Dragons. And welcome back to the channel that takes power gaming to the next level. Today on the Doctor Spell Prognosis, we are talking about the 9th level spell, Foresight. We're giving this one an A-. But first, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you have any questions or comments, please leave a question or a comment. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you know when I've got another video out. All right, we're giving this one an A-. It is usable by bards, druids, warlocks, and wizards. It has a casting time of 1 minute, so it probably will not be used in combat. As range of touch for on somatic components, and we don't care about the somatic component because it is worthless. It lasts for a whopping 8 hours. You touch a willing creature and bestow a limited ability to see into the immediate future. For the duration, the target cannot be surprised and has advantage on attack rolls, and we're going to talk about that. Ability checks and saving throws. Additionally, other creatures have disadvantage on attack rolls against their target for the duration. The spell immediately ends if you cast it again before the duration ends, which is kind of hard to do because you only get one 9th level slot and per 8 hours. So, and this lasts for 8 hours. So I guess if you took an 8-hour rest immediately after you cast it, you got it back and you try to cast it on somebody else, that stops you from casting this spell on multiple people in the party. Now, let's talk about pros and cons. This is a very straightforward spell. It is the gift that keeps on giving, and the decision that needs to be made with this spell is who to cast it on. And that really speaks to the utility of this spell. If you have certain things in your party or certain types of characters in your party, this spell can be extremely, significantly, massively optimal and powerful. If you don't, then it is pretty powerful, but not as powerful. And that's why we're not giving it like a full A. So first off, it's not a concentration spell. It's a cast and forget, which is great. So we don't have to worry about concentrating on it. Second thing is it lasts for 8 hours. That's awesome, especially because it's not concentration. And the last pro that I have on here are all the advantages and disadvantages that happen. So you've got a character now who has advantage on attack rolls. You have advantage on all ability checks, which means hiding becomes very easy to do. And you have advantage on saving throws, which is good because the kinds of characters that you want to cast the spell on have certain weak types of like wisdom and charisma saving throws that you want to give them advantage on. Additionally, the types of creatures that you should be casting this spell on are going to be in the forefront of combat, and thus that disadvantage on attack rolls against that particular PC are going to be important. Okay, so let's talk a little bit. I've got one con for this spell, and it's the casting time. It takes a minute to cast this spell. More than likely, you will not be casting this in combat, but you'll be casting it, say, before you're walking into a dungeon, and it lasts for 8 hours. So you slap one of your compatriots. It isn't necessarily a spell to cast on yourself. Let's just put it that way. A couple of these classes in here could take it, but it works better with some other things in play. But you put it on somebody before you go into a dungeon, and it lasts, for pretty much almost the whole dungeon. So let's talk a little bit about spell choices. Here are the spells at our 9th level that a druid gets: Foresight, Shape Change, Storm of Vengeance, and True Resurrection. If you got a cleric in the party, you don't really need True Resurrection. We're going to talk about True Resurrection. There's some other better options. We haven't talked about Storm of Vengeance yet. This one is okay. Shape Change is probably the go-to, and Foresight, I would say, would be the second one. For Wizards, there's a whole bunch. So you gotta, for wizards, I'm not sure that Foresight is the best one. So you do have to kind of think about that, because you're only getting one. For bards get quite a few as well, and there's some good ones in here like Power Word Kill and True Polymorph and Mass Polymorph. But Foresight is definitely within the realm of the bard to provide support to the rest of the party. So one thing I do want to talk about is ways to get around the one slot spell limitation. This is a good choice for a simulacrum. So if you've got that, it's great to use it and have the simulacrum use this. If that is the case, you won't be using the simulacrum wish trick, but this is a good one for the simulacrum cast on somebody in a pinch, and you won't have to worry about blasting out your 9th level spell. The other thing I do want to talk about is what types of characters that you want to put this on. Well, I got a number of things written down here. The first thing I want to talk about is Elven accuracy. So whenever you have advantage, and Foresight gives you advantage on all attack rolls, whenever you have advantage on an attack roll, that's a melee attack roll, a ranged attack roll, a spell attack roll, any of them, using dexterity, intelligence, wisdom, or charisma. So it does exclude strength, but a lot of classes use these. You can re-roll one of the dice. So that means that you are maximizing your chances to fish for a critical hit, especially when you're rolling 3. The other thing that I would match this up with is I would match this up with things that also increase your either damage with special abilities or increase your chances to crit. And one of them comes to mind, and that is the Hexblade's Curse, which any attack roll you make against a cursed target, it crits on a 19 or 20. If we've got Elven accuracy with Hexblade's Curse, we do this little thing. We get 3 20-sided dice. We're looking for at least one of those dice to be a 19 or a 20. We have a 27% chance of doing that with Foresight on all the time, with every single attack that we make. 27% chance to crit with every one of them. Now, that also means that this warlock, if this warlock has hexed something, then instead of doing a d6, it's going to do 2d6. But again, there are other classes that can go good with this warlock too. And so this is going to be a higher level character that has access to this 9th level spell casting on other characters. But if you've got a paladin warlock who has Hexblade's Curse, who fights mainly with charisma, who has Elven accuracy, and who can do Divine Smite, you can take these extra 2d8s up to 5d8s, and those become doubled. Those are doubled. So you can also do this with the rogue. So if we look at the rogue, the rogue has the sneak attack. So if we've got, and this is a dex-based, and that falls in with Elven accuracy. So if you've got a rogue who has dexterity, could also maybe have a couple of levels of Hexblade, and again, they're going to be critting on a 19 or 20 off 3 dice, 27% chance. And if they have a whole bunch of dice to sneak attack, those all double. Another one that I'm thinking about is the Whispering Bard, or the College of Whispers. Now, the reason I have that is because of Psychic Blades. And when you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you can spend 1 use of your Bardic Inspiration die to deal an extra 2d6 damage to the target. And this increases up to 8d6. So if you've got levels of Warlock and you've got levels of your Hexblade and you've got Elven accuracy because you're a half elf or an elf, that 8d6 has a 27% chance to turn into 16d6 instead. So you can kind of see where this is going with this class. Now, obviously, those characters are not going to have access to a 9th level spell. But if one of the players has it, and you're in the same group, that player that's casting Foresight could really maximize that. And just imagine the sheer amount of damage that one of these characters can just dole out. Another one to think about with this, in addition, is some form of the Gloomstalker and possibly a rogue, in addition to Elven Accuracy. You know, and you get this Dread Ambusher. So again, you're doing all kinds of attacks. They all have advantage, and if you have Elven Accuracy and they're all based off of Dex or Intelligence or Wisdom or Charisma, they all are going to have a 27% chance to crit if you've got Hexblade's Curse. If you don't have that and we're looking for one of these to be a 20, we get 3 dice, you've got a 14% chance per attack to get a crit, which is really good. That's better than the 5% chance you normally have with just one 20-sided dice. All right, that Foresight is actually a pretty good spell. It is it's the gift that keeps giving. That is what I got for everybody today. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I will catch everybody later.